Welcome back. Episode 32 of the Love Boat Project. I am Mike Robertson, along with Mike Taylor. Mike, congratulations. You are not the father of Vicky Stubing.
Let me just say. We'll get into it. It's good to see you, Mike.
So the last thing we talked about last episode was we knew that the Vicky character was coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Not in her regular role, but this was the introduction to what it will eventually be.
Same name, right.
The sixth character of the Love Boat, the sixth regular character. So we were curious to see how they would unveil it. And you and our previous guest, Tanya and Buddy, I believe you guys all said some sort of like the ex-wife had a baby and didn't tell him, and that
clandestine. Yeah.
Right. And I think I went with one night stand. I don't think either of us were right.
No.
And to be honest with you, I'm still not exactly sure.
No. No, nobody is. I don't think Meryl is. Nobody knows what happened. Nothing.
We had multiple flashbacks.
How does a flashback not provide some sort of like, oh, now it's in context?
Flashbacks and a voiceover letter, and I still don't really know what happened.
Oh, forgot about the voiceover letter. Yeah, no, everyone's so vague. What would you like for breakfast? Food. What? No. I know, but what kind of?
Oh, you know who really liked food? Georgina. So
dude, she was all about it.
We'll get into it, but it's like they skated between him having zero idea what's going on to him being so far ahead of the curve with everything that every little subtle clue that gets dropped, he's like, he seemed more flummoxed this week than last week with the illusions. And honestly, I'm not even sure that was the weirdest part of this episode. Anyway, we are here to talk about Love Boat Season 2, Episode 7, 90 minutes for some reason.
Why? Why?
A time for everything, including this. The song is ended. Accidental cruise. And because it's 90 minutes, we got a fourth storyline. And what are we going with pronunciation on this thing? Anshuka? I wrote Russian Swit.
Russian Swit. Yeah.
Okay. So
well, as you can see, if my name tag this week, it says Mikhail. So I am all aboard the Loretta Switinsky.
I have vodka in here, just a splash of vodka, because if you liked the subtlety of the cosmonaut inspector guy, you'll love Russia Swit. Good Lord.
Was she? Let me just ask this, because they had her like dressed, dare I say, scantily at times.
Eventually, well, slinky, Mike. I think that's
slinky. I'm sorry.
Slinky, yeah.
I want to be.
How you say slinky?
How you be slinky? Just
so much of
was
that.
she considered like a
foxy lady?
Yeah, like a non.
Well, I think in the context of that, she was the lead love interest type person on the most popular show in the country at this time. I would say yes, but like maybe not in real life. Like she's not popping on a Playboy or anything, but
like in that day and time, if there was a People magazine, sexiest man alive, sexiest woman alive. Is she that?
Well,
then?
But it's it's interesting. I think she's got a vibe. I think it's a lot of vibe, right? And I think part of that is in the show too. I think she carries herself in a way that, yes, I do think that she would be on that list. Is she? She's not Barbie Benton, right? Or one of the Charlie Angels,
she
or
doesn't
something.
Have a perfect
like that.
Yeah, no perfect nose for Miss Swit.
Listen, this isn't her fault. This is stupid, and we're just a victim, and we're probably going to get this junk the whole run of the show, because much like wrestling and action movies, late 70s, early 80s TV is all about, these cartoon character foreign enemies or whatever. And so that's what we got.
100%.
Yeah.
It was shocking from the beginning. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, there was
Nice to meet you again, Loretta.
And unnecessary. Like, you could have gotten there in a much different way. She didn't have to be chasing moose and squirrel. Like, it was just...
Yeah, I bring my own vodka on boat. Like,
Lord.
You brought your own. Okay. All right.
Well, anyway, if you can't figure it out by now, the synopsis for this one, get ready. Captain Steubing is reunited with his daughter. So the synopsis has decided that
they're already why? Because they both have blue eyes. Is that what the determination is? And an old sea captain has questionable flashbacks with no context in the end.
Flashbacks. Great. Flashbacks. Give him credit. Give him credit.
Took his hat off. Flashback.
Hold on. Give him credit.
I'm young Steubing.
They darkened his hair.
They did. I did.
Give him credit. I appreciate the effort. The jewel in this mess this week, former songwriters Charlie and Bert are reunited on board after kind of accidentally running into each other. There's more to that for sure. The tacked on storyline winner is that a boss and his secretary get drunk and end up on a boat by accident, which sure.
In one of the best cabins on the boat.
Yeah.
Without ID. They didn't even ask. Would they open the door and just let them fall in?
That one's got a curtain too. And yeah, as we talked about, a Soviet cruise line commissar falls for Doc. So when I look into the what else is on, which we will get to here in a second,
I'm very excited about
go into the old newspapers, and it's the old like daily TV guide that they used to put with the grid and everything, and then they have the synopsises. Sometimes they're too short for us to use, but in those synopsises, there's also sometimes like a little box, and it's got just all caps, and it's really just to grab your attention. Mm-hmm. Not everybody gets one. There's only a few on each page. Love Boat made it this week. This is so much better than the synopsis I just read.
Oh.
This is all caps, and bear in mind, hot lips makes Doc see red.
Ooh, that's good.
That's so good.
That's so good.
Good job by whoever's in charge of that.
Oh, so that's interesting to me that they push episodes in that way. Right? You got all these people on the show. You know what I mean? Why didn't Soupy Sales get that sort of love in the print?
Pie man.
Hey, I got some questions about him, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
What else is on? Well, here's the thing. This is 90 minutes. So we're covering different ground this week.
Oh, perfect. Wait, what time was it on? Did it end at 11?
From 8 to 9:30, because behind it was a 90-minute Fantasy Island. So they were putting spelling to work here.
That's a big night.
It is the first weekend of sweeps. So I do wonder. I didn't tend to, and I didn't do it, but I will do it for next week. I think it's time to look into the ratings for this season of The Love Boat, because 90-minute episodes means they're probably doing well. And what was on CBS tonight? Going up against it starting at 8:30? This feels like a direct attack on The Love Boat.
It's not the show with the ladies anymore?
American Girls. We cannot. I do not want to know what happened to American Girls. It is not American Girls.
It's not American Girls. I'm trying to think what existing shows were.
It's not a show, my friend. It's a feature movie. The
CBS
Poseidon
movie?
Adventure. So they are going full boat against The Love Boat.
What year did that come out?
Like 72, 73.
So it was a new-ish movie for back then. For no VHS
And just to really up the ante, Red Buttons is in it. Local creep, Red Buttons.
What was he, molesting the people that worked on it?
I think we talked about this the episode he was on. I can't remember if he dies or if he's married to Shelley Winters and she dies, or if I'm thinking of Towering Inferno, where he dies in the elevator.
It's, it all
If
goes
anybody
together.
does Towering Inferno Project, let me know. I love that movie. I would
Give
watch
us a
that
ring.
movie and talk about that again.
I can
I'm pretty
respect
sure
that.
Red Buttons dies hilariously in an elevator riding outside the building. So, that's on CBS, and that started at 8:30. The
Heavy
Jeffersons
hitters.
was on at 8, but we basically got Poseidon for 2.5 hours over on CBS.
Wow.
NBC.
Yeah, they're swinging for the fence with that one, man. You think about that, because that's not their normal. NBC is normally the one with the movie.
Yes.
CBS always had the Jeffersons and Good Times and all these other things.
Or American Girls. R.I.P.
Or American Girls.
I don't know if we're ever going to see him again.
Were they on at like 1 a.m.? Like
Well, we only have
Rains time?
We only have 7 episodes of them left anyway. I don't know where they're going to air.
Well, remember last week they showed a repeat of the first episode.
That's not good. That's not a good sign.
Never good.
That's
never
not a good
good.
sign. NBC at 8, Chips.
Solid.
Another friend of the show, Jimmy Jam. This episode this week was named High Flyer. Ponch battles his fear of flying. John deals with a teenager's crush on him. And my favorite arc here, both patrolmen serve the LA Rams cheerleaders with a traffic ticket.
Like on separate incidents?
I don't know if they like have maybe they
what was it?
Do they have a cheerleader mobile?
Yeah, maybe. Or a van.
Weren't they playing in Anaheim back then? So that could be quite a ride for them. The good news is this distraction did not impact the Rams, who beat the Bucs 26-23 the next day. So.
I'm glad you looked. They got the old bump. You know what I mean? They got the bump. Good for them.
The big one tonight. Now, I am curious to see if you've ever heard of this. On NBC at 9, it is part 4 of a 12-part miniseries called Centennial. I had never heard of it. I had no idea, and I feel like I had heard of all like the big miniseries,
like
right?
Thornbirds,
Lonesome Dove,
War,
obviously,
all that Shogun, yeah.
So the synopsis was this thing started October 1st and finished up in like February. So they were running this thing like all over the place. I feel like CBS maybe was having trouble. Drama or NBC, sorry.
NBC, yeah.
So this is about the economic and cultural growth of Colorado spanning 2 centuries from the mid 1700s to the late 1970s.
Is it starring Mr. Paint Drying?
So I looked at the cast just in general. Now the problem is it's a miniseries spanning 200 years. So I assume a lot of these guys were in like one episode. But there's a lot of guys.
They lived till like they were 30 back then. You need
Raymond Burr's in there. Robert Conrad's in there. Alex Karras is in there. It's like so. I wondered if this was White Roots. Like, was this a response to Roots? Like,
wow, I didn't think about that.
That's the first thing I thought of. It just feels like very like it's just like Colorado, really like.
It doesn't feel very necessary.
It sure as hell doesn't feel necessary for 12 episodes.
No. How long is this episode?
This thing was 2 hours. I assume they're all 2 hours. So 24 hours.
It was a 24-hour.
Yeah. It's like
and it kind of like, hey, we're here. Now we live here. Credits. Yeah. Like, what is there?
It's great. Like, yeah.
Well, it snows in December. Oh,
yeah. Okay. I was really surprised. So whoever's doing Centennial Minute or Centennial Project, let us know.
Well, the other thing is, I wonder, are they running consecutive days? Because last episode, because it was a movie on, it was the Kiss movie was last week. And then
I looked because what caught my eye was 12 episodes, but it runs 1978 through 1979. So it starts in October, ends in February. It's not like it's every Saturday. So it's weird.
Oh, that's what you do, because people don't like to watch a show or a game on the same day and time. Switch it up.
Especially in 1978, when you could easily find out when things were on randomly.
It's only 3 channels. It can't be.
So,
wow.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. That was That was interesting, and not in a way that we've had interesting stuff
Yeah, that's
on that
different.
segment. So the credits this week, I think, yes, everybody on here I knew,
Yeah.
which very rarely happens. There's always, I mean, look at last week, like all those olds, we didn't know any of the groupies at
I think
all.
we're starting to turn because all those olds are getting really old now. You know, they're starting to age out of at least being a guest on this show. I wonder if it's going to, within of course, red buttons. I think you're going to get an additional, like some of them peppered in, but like the three groupies and things like that. I kind of see.
I think every time we think they're going one way, they go.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna.
We'll see. This thing's gonna be littered with olds. Plus, like it's easy to load up in the beginning of the season. Are we getting this level of star in like episode 20?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
That'd be fun.
We'll see. Fingers crossed.
I'm excited.
We start off with just absolute powerhouses. Richard Dawson as Bert Buchanan and Robert Goulet as his former writing partner, Charlie Godwin.
Goulet. I want to make a quick note, sir.
Yes.
This is the second week in a row we were robbed of a famous mustache. We've got the moustacheless Goulet and the moustacheless Vincent Price.
Had the same thought. Did a little digging.
Yeah.
I don't know the Goulet, that era Goulet was automatic mustache. The Goulet we know.
Yeah. That's absolutely all I know.
But it also occurred to me that most of the Goulet I know is the old ESPN Big Monday commercials and Will Ferrell doing Robert Goulet. So,
it's mostly Will Ferrell.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I thought, I was surprised that Robert Goulet was on. He felt like just a guy that wouldn't be on a show like this, but maybe I have.
It's like if Wayne Newton just showed up. You're like, what?
Wayne Newton is definitely going to be on this thing, right? Because this boat's ending up in Vegas somehow.
They sell some tickets, baby.
Yeah, that boat is somehow going to go up the Snake River. I have no idea.
I think it's the Tigris Euphrates. What about? I wonder if we'll get a Liberace appearance.
It does feel like. I mean, it's his era. You could
did a lot of TV.
Listen, we know there's a piano on the boat. We've seen it before. We saw it today.
We saw it this week. Although, did we? Pianos? I don't know if it was the same piano because this one seemed to be playing itself. I don't know. Acting.
We'll see. Richard Dawson, of course, Family Feud, also Hogan's Heroes, and it was interesting. I thought he carried himself with that same effortless charm that our good friend, former Stubby winner, Bob Crane did.
100%. I am a huge Hogan's Heroes fan, and I'm a huge Richard Dawson fan.
Yes.
I loved him on Family Feud. I hoped so much when I saw him. I was like, let him be Newkirk. You know what I mean? Like, let him play that. He's zero effort. No. He
not
makes it look
fell way either.
Effortless.
Right? Yeah.
Effortless. Yeah. It's like he's just being him. He didn't even seem like he was acting.
No, not at all.
Amazing.
The whole episode. I spoiler, in an episode that I probably didn't like, I really liked that storyline. Like,
apparently he got with Julie though. That's the one thing I didn't like.
We'll get to that. The love triangle's third participant though is old friend Juliet Mills, who's back as back. June Godwin. So we got the Godwins. Get your slop bucket ready. But Juliet Mills, of course, was on episode 15 last season, which was our first two-parter, where she was involved in a love triangle. So
that's right.
She played Dan Rowan's wife and became best friends with the mistress.
That's right.
Fabrics. Crazy things with fabrics.
That was a good, I thought that was a good storyline, by the way. Looking back at it now.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the details, but I look back at it as a solid storyline.
I think that episode, maybe even Scuttlebutt, right? That middle of the season was the cutoff for us in terms of we didn't know what we had. And then it kind of got bad for a while. So
we lose a little more elevation and then a little more elevation.
Yeah. It was a gradual fall. Soupy Sales. Victor Marshall. It's funny. Soupy. It was funny. I was like, I need to look up. I know Soupy Sales. I'm pretty sure I know why I know Soupy
Yeah.
Sales. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing like something obvious. And no, it's kid show getting pied in the face.
That's it.
Yeah.
He had a big show, WNEW, WWC. My thing with him is I've always had a theory that is just a massive comb over on the top of his head. Right? The hair's been grown out. For real. I've always thought that. So my thing I was watching for in this episode were any outdoor shots with Soupy. And I didn't see one. Like truly outdoors where you could verify.
No, that whole skit did not. That whole skit did not go outside. And then unless you count when they rolled in, right? Was that technically outside?
But you couldn't see the sky.
Right.
Like that's the set.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all I can see when he's on is like that goofy talking thing. Like he always talks like he's doing a kid show.
It's funny because
it's not his real voice.
I will say this. At the beginning of their storyline, he was actually better than I expected, and then he went into
the thing out of his pocket. Like who's this? Okay, it's terrible.
His partner in this one is Joanne Worley, always understated. She's playing Sandy. At one point, my wife walked in the middle, and I think it's at one of those scenes with her and Gopher, and she's just being full Joanne Worley, and my wife's like, she's a lot, and I'm like, no, that's her bit. Like she held it in for a while, but then she was like,
it's consistent.
You bet you're biffy. We already talked about it. Loretta Swit is playing Anna Shuka Mishkana, whatever, the Russian. We're not going to be pronouncing that all night. It's going to be Russian Swit, so just accept it. She's back. After her appearance in episode 3 of season 1, the Robert Reed and her going at it. She was better in that one, but again, she did as well as you could do with what this was.
I mean, she walked into you want me to do what?
Yep.
That's the storyline you want me to be? Well, let me ask you. If you had to place her in a different storyline this week, which of the other storylines would have fit better?
I guess she could have been the wife of Goulet, but that would have been different. I thought the fact that she was British made it a little more charming. And
I agree. That. Plus, she was kind of in that triangle weird thing last time too.
Right. If you had wanted to flesh out the aunt Dolores, you could have made her that. But I know we always go back to her as Cagney and or Lacey and the job she never got.
That's right.
But no, sadly, she's not back now till post MASH. We won't see her till season 8.
Well, she's promoting after MASH at that point, I would imagine. In
a 2-parter that I did happen to just take a peek at, because we're not going to remember by 2030 or whenever we're doing this. That boat is somehow in Paris. So
what? How did they get there? They go across the Strait of Magellan? Like what?
I think we've talked about
a long cruise, my friend.
Haven't we talked about season 8? That's the bad season. That's post Julie. They bring on new Julie. Like I imagine.
Is that when Ted McGinley joins the cast?
I think that's after that. I think I'm not even sure. I shouldn't speak out of turn, but I know it's post Julie, and I'm already mad about that. So
yeah, I'm bummed about that already.
You know who will be on that episode, though, and all episodes in season 8?
Vicky.
Is Jill Whelan as Vicky. Now, she's listed as Steubing in the credits, which I think it was strictly in the show.
Everyone needs to slow down.
Yeah, let's get some blood. Let's get some blood here before we start.
Everybody's jumping to conclusions here. There's no...
Yeah. We've had this thing like Robert Urich when his ex-girlfriend was pregnant, he just assumed that was true. We gotta get some. Where's Barry Sheck? Let's get Barry Sheck on this boat. Get some DNA testing. So
no kidding. As long as it's not Barry Keys hasn't been trained to do Barry Sheck's job, I'll be fine with it.
It's butter. You're all butter related. So. Vicky won't be back now till the middle of season 3.
Well, what's the point? What was the point of bringing her this season?
Well, I guess the thing
this
is, it's
early.
like, is this long-term booking or was this a one-off and they eventually went back to it? It is
What's the
odd
point?
to
Yeah.
not go back to it this season. It is
Why
odd.
not wait till season 3, do it early in the season, then wait a few, and then, something,
Or
something, something.
the only thing I can think, and maybe when we get closer, we'll actually do like research on this because this feels like something we could probably find out. But she was so good, right? Like
She was good.
Joe Whelan was very good, and there are issues with that whole thing, but it clearly like gave Steubing a direction, whether you liked it or not, whatever.
Well, it made him accountable to a certain like level of consistency. You know what I
Well,
mean?
and
Right?
you know
I
what
would
else it
hope.
does? You know what else
Huh.
it does too? It gets him the hell out of the rest of the storylines. Just let him go be a dad over there. And so my point is
Yeah.
maybe they weren't expecting this to be more than just a one-off, but maybe
I
once they
think
got through, this doesn't bode well for the rest of season 2 Steubing is what I'm saying, because I feel like if it was like, man, after that episode, Steubing's been killing it, we don't need to add anything. Like, so
just you'll see. Well, it's funny. After I watched the episode, I was writing down a couple of thoughts, and the first thought was, yeah, this is Steubing's attempt at getting the big Stubby award next season, like for this season. Like that's all that. This is just a blatant. This is him trying to win, an Emmy. Like all these flashbacks that
it
didn't
was
lead to any
it
greater
was
understanding.
very dramatic.
Do you see how many times he almost came to tears? Do you see that? And he was like,
Very
"I'm not."
dramatic. Very dramatic.
It was.
And the thing is, too, it's like when you're trying to make a 60-minute episode, a 90-minute episode, you got time to work those ducks, baby. You got time to work on those tears.
Slow close-ups, like he's right in the camera was in his eye.
Yeah,
at one point.
they used the Gary Collins and the liar close up from last week.
Ooh,
Same camera. Just get in there.
Crazy.
I wanted to shout out a new writer for this season. This is their second episode, but they wrote the songwriting bit, which, as I said, I thought was the best of the bunch this week.
Yeah.
That would be Lan O'Coon, who wrote the song Is Ended. They also wrote the Richard Mulligan fighting storyline from episode 4, which I think I liked more than you did, but
it was all right. I like that they fought.
Yeah. Lan's got some songwriting history as well, so I wonder if he was involved in the penning of those fine tunes that we heard. He worked with Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop.
Oh, I was a big fan when I was a kid, man. Yep. I used to love Lamb Chop. Yeah.
31 episodes for Lan over the run of the show, so we will see more of them, including 3 more this season.
Interesting.
Portal Report. Feel like we're getting an actual direction now?
Yeah, I felt the same way. I think we've shifted because every single one of them, there was eye contact. It was, I felt like it was an intentional portal shot.
Yeah.
Consistently.
It was like, here's what we want you to do.
And they didn't even give you the ticker tape.
Yeah.
No close-ups on the ticker tape.
No,
like last week they gave you both.
We had a shot behind people watching the boat go out.
Yeah, that was so weird. Well, you know what, too? I'm surprised they didn't do both, considering it was a 90-minute episode where time is a commodity.
Well, you know what I find, too, is as I'm doing the notes for the rewatch, basically, I feel like that's when I'm looking down a lot, so I'm missing some of these transition shots sometimes. So some of these shots may already be in the
some
role.
New ones, though. Yeah.
But yeah, it did feel like there were new ones. There was an overhead shot, whatever a drone was, and I guess it was a helicopter. But there's overhead shots of the boat with people like out on the deck.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me think they might be doing well. It seems like they have poured some money into this thing. It looks better, right?
Or they're just taking footage. They're going down to the dock and renting a helicopter and filming. You know what I mean? They could be doing it.
It just looks like
to make it look more
show.
Legit.
The last few episodes, like the actual like cinematography of the show looks better.
Well, and I will say the sets look a little better too.
Right.
The cabins are the cabins. There's nothing you can do, which is smart.
Right. Yeah.
But now, I agree.
But like we will get to it here in a minute, but like when Goulet is coming into the boat, they're coming, I guess, up a stairwell or something like that. But we don't really ever see that. Like,
I don't know when
it's
that.
like, and that's all you need to do. Just don't. There was a stretch there where we were basically seeing the same 3 or 4 sets every week, and
And for the record, I say we've still not seen the bridge. We've not seen the steering wheel, and we've been saying this since day one. We have not seen like the driving mechanism of this boat. You'd think you'd at least see the captain's wheel.
We don't think it's this.
No,
the wires.
This definitely not the wires.
Yeah. Well, he's busy, Mike. I don't know if you saw how busy he was this week.
I mean, he had a lot of close-ups to prepare for.
I mean, he was playing Go Fish very early in the morning, which seems like a time you want to be out there. But
oh yeah. I did have a question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
So I've noticed this episode. We had a musical number this episode. We had a musical number the episode previous.
3 out of the last 4.
Right. What was the third musical performance?
So we had Mike and Ike.
Oh.
And then we had
Fifth Dimension.
Well, that was Mike and Ike.
And
then what was the one before that? It was shit. What was it?
This season?
Yeah, it was. We didn't have one for Halloween. We had Mike and Ike. And then in episode Jam and Jimmy Warren.
Yeah. Okay.
So So different kinds of music. Varying degrees of good.
All of it. Amazing. Yeah.
Do you think that's on purpose?
I don't know. I think so. I mean, there was so many variety shows back then where it was, you get a little this, a little comedy, a little that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was the thing.
It doesn't feel out of place. Honestly, in all 3 of the episodes, it hasn't felt out of place.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I didn't have a problem with it at all. I just wonder if it is that wider net.
I hope so, because it makes the nomination process for best song,
it's going to be cutthroat.
Fierce competition. I mean, I nominated the crew singing a wedding song last year. So
that's true. That's true. Many more. Well, I wonder what's the over-under for total musical performances this season? Over 10?
God, because I think there might have been one. There might have even been one early in the season too. I mean, we're already up to episode 7. I clearly don't remember anything from the beginning of the season.
Well, just remember the first one was the shipwreck.
Right, and there was no music in that one. And then,
sadly,
right, there should have been. They had 2 hours. They should have.
Yeah, I am alone.
Episode 2 was Norman Fell and James Coco. There was no music in that.
Stupid Norman Fell.
Episode 3 was the one with Jamie. I don't remember what that was already.
I don't remember a song from that one.
Episode 4 was the Creeps. Yeah, so I don't think we had one in the first 3.
So let's say we have 3. End of the season. Let's say
are we going to
6.
count? Are we going to count? Like, how deep are we getting? Are we talking about like individual performances? Like, we're not counting the house band when
if it's a musical, because I mean, Mike and Ike, there was no house band.
Yeah,
they were just getting down on the deck.
Well, I know April Lopez comes back at some point.
Oh, there you go. Maybe it only counts if you get applause.
No.
Okay.
Whatever the rules were last year are the rules this year. So find the spreadsheet. One last note from me before we go on the boat. Neither of the Strickland ladies, the Strickland sisters, got portal credits. I understand Georgina not getting it because she wasn't really, but I feel like Dolores, she had multiple scenes. She's pretty important.
I would think that she's pretty important.
Weird for her not to get a portal shot. And it goes back to what we have talked about before. What's the criteria? She's not a famous actress. Like, she's not anything like that. But she had
pretty significant
important parts, right?
Within the context of the whole storyline, of course. I don't know why. Right.
Like, I'm pretty sure her other credit on the Love Boat is she will be involved in whenever Vicky joins the cast. Okay. Like that episode. So cool. I feel like I know the most going forward about that, in that I know that it happens in the middle of next season. So
how does a little kid join the crew? Aren't they supposed to go to school?
Oh, I'm sorry. How does a little kid get to sailing the thing by herself.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I forgot to suspend
Yeah.
my. Yeah.
We'll get to that. Anything before we go on the boat?
No.
All right,
Thank you
let's go.
thank you for resetting my expectations. I don't know what I was thinking.
I checked with the line. All right, we start off, and the Russians are coming.
Oof.
Stubing comes in and introduces Russian Sweat. I'm not even trying. I wrote it. I don't even know if I spelled it right.
It's easier.
Yeah. And as Mike said, she is dressed like Brigitte Nielsen in the beginning of Rocky IV.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, it's classic. It's classic 1978 Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Soviet Union, USSR.
Subtle accent though.
Yeah, I think Yakov Smirnov thought she was laying it on a little bit.
That's where he got the idea for the act. He started the next month. What a country.
In Russia, you steal jobs.
He was big in Branson, Missouri.
I know.
And he did the commercial.
Big in Branson.
He used to tout the fact that you had magnetic trays. So you could sit and watch the show with your tray right in your lap because it was magnetic, stuck to your seat.
Wait.
He read the whole menu. It was pretty funny.
Where does it stick? On the arms of the chair?
Yeah, arm. Yeah.
Oh. But does that mean it covers both arms? Because, like, what if I'm sitting next to a stranger?
Well, how deep are the armrests, too? That's what I'm wondering. I'm sure.
Like it's an Adirondack chair. You're like way back.
You can't even.
Thanks, Yakov. That's got to kill him that this show pissed out before he got big, because, like, he would have been on every season.
Oh yeah,
probably
he was perfect.
Like,
he's gonna be I'm a stowaway. Like I could see the whole thing.
He would have been April Lopez if Love Boat started.
He would have performed his.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he would have performed his. Absolutely.
But he's not here. Instead, we have Loretta Swit.
Instead, we have Loretta.
The conceit of this, as Stubing tells the crew, is that she is the commissar of cruise vessels for the Soviet Union, and the State Department has made a deal with the Princess Line for her to come basically observe. Now, I wanted to reach out to our friends who are well-versed in Russian history, and I failed to do that, so hopefully they're paying attention and can chime in the comments. But in 1978, were we at a point with Russia that we were like, hey, why don't you come on in, check out these giant boats that we have, kind of, get the blueprints, see where everything is. Like, that doesn't seem like something you would be willingly, like, swinging the door open for.
Right.
Maybe that's me.
I think that's funny.
So they go around.
Yeah.
She's introduced to the whole 4-person crew. And Doc, as is his want, gets to be the chaperone against his will.
Let me ask you, when they say what is the equivalent of a commissar? Like, what do you think, in your opinion? Is it the captain? Because I don't think so.
I thought it was like the secretary of,
like, secretary of cruise ships,
like, not secretary like writing, like secretary like like I'm the secretary of the interior.
I think that Stubing has provided way too many details for this to be the truth. You're like, oh, and then my dog ate this and this and this and this. If you're not keeping it simple, you might be lying.
He walked by the commissary and he just quick grabbed that as a word. And he's just like,
imagine they do a spinoff, Meryl Stubinsky. You know what I mean? Double
you
agent.
think he's a Russian sympathizer?
At this point, why not? Julie and his new daughter that we're gonna meet, or whatever it is, she's a full grown adult. Like on that Bugs Bunny thing, when that full grown guy dressed as a baby. Yeah. He was really a gangster on the lam.
Anyway, more to come from that Russian bit. None of it better.
No, it doesn't get better than that. That's it. Yeah.
What does get better is Burt Buchanan. Burt Buchanan, by the way. Burt Bacharach, you think? Think that's a hat tip?
I think it has to
in
be.
that
I
era.
think it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was such an alliterative name. It just felt like,
it was good. It felt good,
yeah. But like you said, Dawson just comes right in.
dude.
He's just like swarmed by autograph seekers. Hey, I'll get to you. It didn't even feel like he knew the lines. Like he was just saying it
Yeah.
as Richard Dawson. He was just like, I'll finish these later. Don't worry about it.
He has a lot of Austin Powers energy.
Yes.
He doesn't sound like him, but he puts off that same vibe. Like, I don't know any of you ladies, but 6 of you are coming with me.
Yep.
Oh.
I'll get you. I'll get you on the flip flop.
No kidding.
Julie is one of the people swooning because that is. I think we've determined if we're saying Julie's like 28, her type is like 49. So
I completely agree.
I mean, that's
Also,
kind of what we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
How's your gut? He wasn't a young man.
oh, Stanfield. Damn you, Stanfield.
One thing I noticed is Julie's hair has grown significantly between last episode and this episode.
Yeah, I thought it's more dramatic between last episode and the one before, which I think they're clearly shooting. Either they're shooting out of order or they took a massive break. But
yeah something's up. Something's up.
There's clearly been, and again, like I said, the last couple episodes have looked better. So I do wonder if like maybe they shoot a bunch in the summer and then take a break because like that makes sense, right? You shoot the cruise stuff when the weather's nicest. I
would think, but then again, like how much of it's real that you couldn't just do in a soundstage with like with an open roof?
Yeah. But like we said, we have said this before, and I don't know that we'll be able to do it once we get into those weird early 80s Julie hairstyles, but this is how we judge continuity at this point.
It's the only thing we have.
Yep. Yeah, Julie has definitely got like basically Roxy Blue goggles on for Bert. And Doc's like, is he with anyone? And she's like, not yet. So,
it was very under the radar. Like they didn't really mention it much throughout the rest of the episode until the end when they like departed together. And I was like,
but they did. But here's the thing. I thought that too when I watched it the first time, and then watching it last night, there's more there. And it doesn't go great for Julie. Like she's losing to June at every turn.
Yeah, but in the end, if really what...
That's only because June got basically faced by Goulet.
She really
There's
did.
a point in this show where she's totally going to Richard Dawson.
Oh, 100%.
And
100%.
There's no way
she
Richard
left
Dawson,
with him.
And there's no way Richard Dawson is picking Julie.
No.
So not because
it's
Julie,
almost like his backup.
The candle that he's been holding for all these years. So.
Like Julie was in his bullpen.
The other half of this, or the other 2/3 of this love triangle start walking up the steps. It's Charlie and June Goodwin, fresh from their home in Philadelphia.
They sound Philadelphian. Goulet. Where are you from? I'm from 2 streets.
And I will say, Juliet Mills sounds even more like her sister in this episode than she did in the last episode.
Yeah,
and
I
if you
agree.
close your eyes, it's Parent Trap.
You
basically.
can't. Yeah.
But they're entering the boat. They're dropping all sorts of exposition, how long they've been married, and they got kids, and we've never been on a cruise, and we've never been on vacation in 12 years. And it's just, it's very charming. I enjoyed that the camera angle was different. And it kind of sets the scene. I like it when they're real life outdoors, at least a little bit.
Did they say Philadelphia just because it was far away from LA where Richard Dawson's living it up? Yeah, baby. Like, is that it? Just like geographically separate him, much like the life that he...
I think you needed a legitimate reason for them not to have seen each other in 15 years. So
I guess
if you live in LA or even New York, maybe it wouldn't work. Also, who knows what people thought about Philadelphia in 1978? Like in terms of, is that like, oh, this guy got out of the rat race and now he's living in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I don't Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't see
whatever.
that
I was
happening.
living in Philadelphia in 1978. I had just been born. But
Oh,
let me
that's
tell
right.
you, cats. That's why I'm wearing my Philadelphia, the
Oh, very
Philadelphia
nice.
Adams, who
Who are
may
the
or may not have been
Philadelphia Adams?
playing. It's one of those indoor soccer league teams. I don't think they were around by '78, but
Nice.
the Godwins could have gone to see a game with their children.
They sure could have.
Shout out Shibe Sports for this fine T-shirt.
Nice.
Gopher says the boat is full, except for the Wilsons, and it turns out the Wilsons are newlyweds, and they're just kind of waiting around for them. This goes back to what we had talked about a couple of weeks ago. How the hell does Gopher have real-time information?
Nothing. Yeah, there's nothing. Well, because what, he didn't see him? Because he personally didn't check them in?
Right. Like, you've got one clipboard. We know there are at least 3 clipboards and
Right.
18 entrances, and no internet. Gary Collins left the boat with that internet, so we have no way of knowing who's really on this boat.
Well, it doesn't even have like a walkie-talkie where you can check with other people.
Right.
And the other thing, too, I thought about is who's not going to show up for their freaking honeymoon cruise? Like, who, if you know you're not going to go on that, you sort of know more than a couple hours before you're not going to make it to your
Plus, they got stood
honeymoon
up at the
cruise.
altar.
Or if they both perished.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm using logic here. Well, they were no show. If not, they never showed up, or did, I don't know.
It's like the old Mitch Hedberg bit about the when they have you take a reservation and then they're like Dufresne party of 3, and they say it a couple times and then they move on to the next one, and he's like, "What happened to Dufresne's?" Like, it should be a search party of 3.
That's funny.
He delivers it much better than I did. But anyway, so luckily, just as Gopher says this, here come the Wilsons. Just cartoon drunk, still drinking.
Yeah.
Just what's the open container policy in 1978 in Los Angeles? Like, they are just like,
I don't wonder how he made it that far with that glass in his jacket pocket. I wonder if that was just for like to get past security and get into the boat. You know, you got to hide your drink.
That is, yeah. Classy though. That
yeah, but who's wandering onto a freaking cruise ship?
The only thing they didn't highlight it, but I'll give them credit for this. I'll give them too much credit. Is later on we find out that Soupy Sales does a lot of business with marinas, I think.
Yeah.
So their office might be like right there. Like they might be across the street. So that's my only thought. I'm giving them too much
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like their office is like called like the Love Dinghy. You know what I mean? It's a much smaller boat. They just don't like, wrong side. Made a left. I was supposed to make a right.
They work at the low V-Bot.
That's it. They don't know, or they're trying to get on the other cruise ship. That's the other one they were supposed to with the British captain. Yeah, they have an office on that ship.
Captain Norton. So anyway, I mean, whatever. We'll get to these people. Steubing is chatting up Richard Dawson, tells him he'll see him around, and then he just kind of stands in the middle of the room because he's got nothing to do.
Because then he's like, "Wait, my storyline is about to begin. Act natural."
All it is, stand on your mark, Merrill. And here comes a precocious young child who asks where the Admiral is, and is he the Admiral? And he's not.
No, he's like, no. I'd have been like, yo.
Yeah, but she's like, sorry for your lost douchebag, basically. So
yeah, why? What happened? What caused you not to? Yeah. That's great. It
was funny. Great. I was flipping around the other night, and Airplane was on, and Vicky, is the sick child in the plane.
Oh wow, nice eye.
Which I did not know. Oh, I didn't know it. I watched it and I was like, huh.
That's
and
interesting.
Then I actually saw it when I was researching tonight. So
I wonder, like after we have this season under our belt, I bet you if we watched any of these movies, you know, like that, then we're going to see all sorts of people, you know, that are recognizable, which is kind of cool.
Think about Airplane, right? She's in it. Leslie Nielsen's in it.
Yeah.
Robert Hayes is in it. upcoming star Peter Graves.
Peter Graves.
So, and that's the only ones we know. I'm sure there's other
Yeah.
people, you know, so.
Hey, do you think Kareem will be on the ship?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. The fact that Reggie Jackson's going to be on later this season.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know. You're a big Reggie Jackson fan.
Oh,
but
man.
I think it's just an easy one, right? You're in LA, takes 10 minutes. You know, you just do some, hi, I'm Kareem. I'm here for a basketball charity event. You know, it's like, I don't think he's going to be playing, what was his Captain Under or whatever. It's like,
oh, well, I wonder too if they're going to,
Aaron
I could
Thunder.
see like the Harlem Globetrotters being on, because I mean, they were on the
and they'll
Gilligan's
all be in the
Island.
portal
That'd be
together.
if they were all, or at least, yeah, they couldn't do himself. Curly, Meadowlark Lemon.
That'll be
Like,
great.
you can't.
Right? You know, Lynette Woodard.
Oh, I'd be so happy if they had that. I remember the cartoon, the guy, the main Meadowlark Lemon used to pull the locker room out of his afro, and they would jump in it.
I think I went and saw the Globetrotters every year until I was like 12. That was just like an automatic. That was an automatic thing. Yep.
It was always the same gimmicks too. It wasn't anything crazy from the year before.
Oh yeah, they didn't come up with new stuff.
So entertaining.
Yeah. And then one of my basketball coaches at a summer camp, played for the Generals.
Ooh.
But he was like really like kind of salty when people are like, "You guys never win," and he's like, "Yeah, but we're really good."
That's why he's salty. Like, no one would ever know that he's good. Do they just? Were they not to win? Like, do you just sort of like throw
what
it?
The rule is, because here's the thing: the Globetrotters are good, right? So like, it's not.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know, and maybe you're not supposed to know.
Yeah, we'll ask the Globetrotters Project to see if they can chime in on that one.
They're watching every game. The Globetrotters have
every single game. Some on the grainiest beta film, but just they're watching them.
That's right. They threw confetti on a fan again.
That's right. They went to the bucket. Oh, he called the referee Tubby. Oh, here we go. The ball on a string. Okay.
Can you tell how much we love this episode?
It's just, and it's 90 minutes of just
we're nowhere
awful.
There's like 7 acts or something. Because I break my notes out by act. I was so mad that I had to write like act 6. Because I didn't need to have act 6.
It's almost like I wish it is called the Love Boat Project, but I wish this episode was called the Love Boat, like sort of a summary, because it's just.
Oh, I looked for somebody's notes just to see if there was like a running list of scenes, so I didn't have to go back and watch it again.
It's just, and there's so many cuts I noticed too. I was thinking, Mike, you're making notes to this.
Yep. Pile. Oh, my last note in here starts with finally all in caps. So
no kidding.
So after Steuben gets faced by a 9-year-old, he turns around and runs into Dolores Strickland, who he doesn't remember her. She remembers him. And this goes on for like a couple back and forths until she mentions her sister, Georgina. With that, there's an aggressive flashback for 4 seconds.
Yeah. That's it. Like, wow.
It was like it did the squiggly lines, it settled for half a second, and then squiggled back out.
It squiggled again. And I felt like his hair wasn't quite as darkened on the first one as it was in the second one.
Yeah, when they went, that was when they shot originally, and like, we can't use these.
Now look at him. He looks like crap.
Flashed back. You got to give him a piece, right?
I swore when I felt the flashback coming, I'm like, okay, either have a hat on to like raise it so he could have hair. Get him a hairpiece in that point. At that point,
because this
would he go bald at 9? I mean, come on.
We're gonna do the math on all this later, but this is at minimum 9 years ago. So, and we don't. This is the problem: is we are operating as though Steuben is Gavin McLeod's age, and they are operating as though Steuben is 100 years old. So,
no kidding. It's just.
It should have been like
We
There
need a
should have been
birthday
like
episode just so they define the age at a point
there
in
should have
time.
been like in the background on the beach when they're like out there making out. It should have been like Dewey defeats Truman. Like it should have been just so you had some context of
He's reading about the Lusitania. That's what inspired him to turn to the sea. What's the thinking of the Lusitania? All right.
So Steubing like literally is just floored by just the memory of this woman. Like this is such a amazing love affair that the mere mention of her brings him to his knees, stops him in his tracks.
Yeah.
And yet he didn't know that she was dead. And at your kid, right?
Yeah. No,
so, like,
no.
Does Dolores know? I have so many questions.
Listen, that little girl said who her dad was, right? She described it. You know, he passed away or whatever. I don't know. And then it was never mentioned again by the aunt or anybody else about who the father was. All we know is Vicky. Is that her name, Vicky?
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of Vicky, but
you're not a fan of Vicky.
No, because they're slowly setting up to push Julie out. She's like her understudy.
No, I don't think that's what happens. No,
she was the one giving Lauren Hughes all the cocaine. Oh. She was pushing her out. Grow your hair, Lauren. Do all this cocaine, Lauren. It's awful.
No,
screw you, Vicky. Wow. What was the question? Where were we?
I don't remember. Do you just hate anybody in the Steubing bloodline?
You know what? That might be. That might be.
So,
well, wait. What's her last name? Do we get a last name?
I don't know that they ever gave a last name. For some reason, I thought it was Strickland. Like that, I saw it somewhere, and it should be Strickland. So maybe at one point she's introduced as Vicky Strickland. So
maybe who knows? Yeah, just wondered.
So Vicky is taking the cruise to Acapulco to move with her aunt and uncle. I assume they have guardianship. The mom's been dead for 8 months. So did Dolores go to LA for all that time and then now they're finally moving? Why are you taking a boat to Acapulco? Let's get on a plane. Like, what are we doing here? We don't like when anybody does it. Like, this is ridiculous. And then you can't go, and you're sending the kid by yourself.
Listen, when, if I were to move tomorrow, okay? Right. Let's say I were to move to, like, I don't know, Maine.
Okay.
I'm not driving. I'm taking a boat, Mike. I'm getting one of those cube things, loading it on a ship, and I'm taking a boat. You know why? 2 words. Less traffic. That's it.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. So you're taking one of your moving cubes, dragging it down to the dock, and having them stow it for you.
And then we're gonna boat it. That's what they say. Boat it. We're gonna boat it to Maine.
That's a classic Atlantic. This is a good week for that too. There's no like storms in the Atlantic.
What could go wrong?
So, Dolores is insistent that she like called the cruise line to make sure it was okay that she could dump a 9-year-old on the boat.
Who said yes? Who would say?
Oh, you know who it was?
Not say not without a chaperone.
I know 100% who it was. Audrey Steubing.
Oh.
Or Audrey Skarsgård, or what the hell his name was.
That's who it is. That's her. Fine.
All ties in. This bastard child can sail alone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. 9. See, there's your storyline.
What? She comes back to try to kill him? Vicky's like, I'm going to take you out, Meryl. Like, she's all pissed off. She blames him for the death of her mom and dad. Ooh, heavy.
Steubing,
bad episode, ladies and gentlemen. Bad episode.
So Steubing is now going to keep an eye on the kid because he's got nothing better to do. I don't know what the plan was. If Dolores hadn't run into the captain who was banging her sister. I don't know what the plan was.
She'd have been like, "All right, good luck. Hopefully, I'll see you on the other side of Acapulco." That's
Also, I don't know the relationship between the sisters Strickland, right? But
right.
like, so I guess this wasn't a torrid affair, but the fact that the way that it ended, it makes me feel it was like it was a torrid affair. Is it weird that the sister knew him? Like, I don't know that every affair participant is known to the family. You're not bringing them home to dinner, right? Like,
We're not welcoming. Like, we're having this torrid affair, but
yeah,
we'd love to meet for brunch. Like in the
right.
midst of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
No, no.
Can you come to Mother's Day?
I think they're almost trying to like serve a few different masters here by doing this. They're trying to set up that storyline, the next storyline. So you know what I mean? They're creating these little, because it
Just
doesn't
can't
make sense.
I can't tell if they think they're being clever and making it they never chose, right? It's like, is it a mystery? Is it a big reveal? Is it some muddled mess?
Why
Like,
didn't Meryl ask her? You wouldn't
I
even
mean,
ask the question. Hey,
I think he
quick
knows, but this is
question.
why. Here's my point. Based on this letter at the end, right? And the conversation they had, I assume that, again, it was so confusing, but I assume he knows. Like, I don't think he needed to see all this stuff.
You know
Like,
what? You would think, but let's not lose sight of who we're dealing with here. He is a dummy.
he's an admiral.
That's right.
So the Princess Cruise Line has learned nothing
Nothing.
since Theo Dennison rode the boat, and they're about to stick this 9-year-old in a cabin by herself.
Here we go again.
Yep. Thank God. Vicky's like, nightmares, whatever. Could I stay with you? Adult person. Like, so.
Imagine that, and Stubing's cabin's still all messed up from the amazing Alonzo's lady who spent the night.
No.
Apparently a lot happened.
Oh no. So like Stubing begrudgingly agrees, which again,
Who's
where we at here? Is it your daughter? Like, it should have almost. There is one great scene in this episode.
was it, the credits?
It's the Stubing dock scene.
Okay.
And they really should have had it much earlier.
Yeah.
Because they needed to have him going through this way earlier. Because at this point, if it is your daughter, you should be like, stay with me. If it's not your daughter,
Right.
you should be like, hey, Doc, stop chaperoning the Russian. I need you to, where's Julie? I need you to stop trying to bang Richard Dawson and watch
for a second. Yeah.
So
anyway.
Moving on. Speaking of Vicky, she's showing Russian Swit the candles that she's got in the pool, which does not go over well.
That's great. You put candle in pool. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
great.
In Russia,
great.
candles are fiery skulls of our victim.
Hey, sign of weakness.
Swit then starts kind of grilling Isaac about why he wants to be a bartender, and Isaac's like people, blah blah blah. And then she literally just starts doing like, in Russia, job chooses you. Like, we're already here.
Where's Yakov? Where'd he go? Where is he?
Yeah.
It's funny, because she brought the vodka, it was yet another opportunity taken away from Isaac to make his first drink for us. Other than pour liquor, to make his first like pour something.
Did she put anything? She didn't put any in vodka though, right? It was literally just like,
it was just, that was it. Dumb. But I know
I at least mixed it with a little fruit juice. Yeah. So.
When they arrived though, they were drinking Planters Punch, which I'm very, very I'm very keen on, by the way.
It's very good, especially in this, like, as a pool drink. Weird to have it work, but that didn't seem to be a problem because we're doing shots of vodka too.
Yeah, no kidding. Why that didn't even dawn on me. You got getting hammered. Is that cool? Yep. How come it wasn't right for Bob Crane to slam a glass of scotch?
Cases of vodka have arrived because she's Russian.
Stereotypes. Is it where's my caviar? Like what's the other, and potatoes?
And like, I don't know, it's a boat, man. I'm sure he's got vodka back there. He's got
Yeah,
eggs. I'm sure he's got
relax.
vodka.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's got that.
Julian Swit like have an actual like female forward toast to Western women
Yeah,
breaking free of the chains of patriarchy and all that stuff. So
it wasn't in the original script. Swit put that in there.
well, also it was the last time we talked about it. So we
Yeah,
kind of got off that pretty quick.
yeah, no kidding. It went right back to Julie getting with Richard Dawson. So what did you take from that? She must have the memory of a goldfish. Just and then she completely forgets her cheers. She's back to Julie shenanigans.
I think they're trying to establish that Julie's like kind of intimidated by her, which makes sense. I mean, she's we've seen Julie intimidated by Les.
Sure.
But they don't really go anywhere with the whole sisterhood. I guess they do a little bit, but they do it in like the demeaning way where here's a sexy dress for you to wear.
Yeah. I don't want to look legitimate anymore.
Yeah. What means slinky? What means goof? It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that.
Awful. The funny thing is this episode on IMDb was like a 7.0. So initially I was like, oh, okay, okay, good. I have certain expectations now. And I was like, what?
Yeah. I think the idea that this was the Stooping Daughter episode probably carries a lot of weight, but I don't think they're going to find the other half of that locket when she comes back.
But spare us the newlywed storyline. Get rid of that one. Just do the fact that it's 90 minutes and I would see how much time is left. And I'm like, oh my God, like what are we doing?
I have a thought, and we'll get to it at the end, I'm sure, but like that this as a 60-minute episode could have been the best episode of the season.
I agree.
But we did not.
So much fat on this episode. It's just god awful.
We're in Charlie and June's cabin. They're getting dressed, but man, they're gift of the Magi in it. June's ready to go out. Charlie's ready to get down.
Yeah.
You know who wins that one. Sorry, Goulet.
But this is before she knew Dawson was on the boat, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's already no ulterior.
It's cool. Okay. It's cool in the Goulet bedroom.
Yeah. Who's leaving Goulet? Who's leaving Goulet in the bedroom like a Robert Goulet? Like, come on.
This is one of our many exposition dumps in this one. There was just no 90 minutes. You could come up with a better way to dump exposition, but at least this was kind of graceful. But we find out Charlie used to write songs, and then June got knocked up, and he decided to be the stand up guy, and then he goes to get dressed. So, and we end Act 1 with Russian Swit showing up at Julie's door and announcing that she wants to be Slinky.
I mean, do you blame her for being all over Dr. Adam Bricker? So he was the catalyst for the change then.
It's always the ones you don't want.
Ugh, poor Bricker.
We start in Act 2. Isaac and Gopher with an unnecessary outdoor shot, wondering where the newlyweds are. No one is wondering where the newlyweds are except Isaac.
The sound was so like I don't even think Gopher's lips were moving. I was watching the footage. I'm like, there's no. What is going? Like, why did you
shoot this from way up and just like assume that there won't be wind on a boat?
And then the sound is just echoless. It's just a perfect from a carpeted room somewhere in Los Angeles. I'm just like, this is so unnecessary.
Smash cut to Sandy waking up in bed with Victor. Sandy assumes this is the one good scene in this storyline.
I agree.
Sandy assumes that they're in Victor's cabin or apartment. He's like, nope. He looks out the window and he's like, we're surrounded by water. So at one point they mention that they were going to see a Japanese movie and they think they're on a freighter to Tokyo. Like this gave me like, I was encouraged. I was like, oh, okay. Soupy sales. All right. This isn't going to be
give me a silly storyline. Like I'm fine with
pie in the face. I was like, this is pretty good. We find out ostensibly that they do work together. She is his secretary, and the long story was that they were dictating a letter to the head of the Unified Marine Products.
Oh, it's very specific.
Sure.
I use a lot of their products.
Now look for the merch in
look for
store.
that next month. Catalog's coming out.
Businessman number 2. But they got dragged into an office party. No, what is this? It's November 4th. What is this like?
What are you celebrating? The week after, like it's the week after Halloween, and neither one of you in a costume. You know what it is? It's Kevin's Halloween party. That's what it is. It's Kevin's Labor Day party. That's what.
That's a joke for like 4 people.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get sauced at this office party, and get so. Now listen, there is something to be said for people who don't drink getting so drunk that, but to get from your, unless the office is across the street, that's pretty drunk. That's pretty functional drunk.
Where's the vomit scene? You're going to tell me these people are that drunk who never really drink, and then you're going to go on a ship?
Plus, and then you know what? I have had too much to drink and passed out in a bed, and I don't wake up like this. Man,
hours
you are
later,
at best half dressed, at best half in the bed. There is the biggest glass of water spilled next to you've ever seen. Like, so, yeah.
And also, I will note, none of Soupy's hair individual follicles are out of place again. I'm monitoring this closely.
I think the best argument for your comb over thing is you wouldn't get into a career where you're getting hit with a pie every day if you were worried about your tube falling off, right?
That's a good point.
Unless that's what you want people to think.
Hiding in plain sight, man.
Yeah.
It's just like Breaking Bad.
All right. So this is kind of a captain's table. It's Richard Dawson, Vicky, and like 3/5 of the crew is at dinner.
This whole dinner was a little odd to me.
Yeah.
Like, number one, everyone's got flaming duck. I didn't even know flaming duck was a thing because it looked like
cold duck.
Like, what is this? And then she gets liver and onions out of out of like our gang or something. Like it's like, Stuving's all. You should eat. I expect you to eat all your.
Yeah, give me that flaming duck, Merle.
Give me that flame. Yeah, why can't she have flaming duck?
I'm about to go live in Acapulco. You think I'm going to be living healthy?
Who's liver and onions on a cruise ship?
Living in a castle.
Bunch of garbage.
This is where Vicky kind of gets some zingers in about, she's, I don't know. There were zingers. I don't know. I thought she was fine.
She was good. She had a little sass, but I thought she was kind of sharp. You know what I mean? I thought she was sharp. Yeah. It was good.
And then she's like, she has a sweet tooth, and then
wait, then he loses his hat.
You should have darkened your sides.
It should have gone like blue, just like dark royal blue. So
I rewound this multiple times.
Yeah, I got to keep the hat on. Flashbacks.
Thank you. It's Georgina. It's Georgina and dark hair Stuving. The fugitive. The fugitive.
The new action figure, by the way, is dark haired Stuving.
Episode title, right? So now this is on the heels of the sweet tooth. So they're at like a stand, clearly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Georgina's like, "Oh, Meryl, they have something with an F." And I went back like 3 times, and I thought it was going to be fudge. Maybe it's like fudge, but in a language.
Was it flan? I mean, they are in a place.
Flan on a stick. This is why you died, Georgina. You're just eating. You're
You're just eating stick.
Cart flan.
You're chewing on a wooden stick. The flan.
What is this, Lucky's? Get out of here.
What is this wet stick? It had flan on it, I swear. So what did you think it... I'm trying to think of another word.
I mean, honestly, I think it was probably fudge, but like, different language. That was my...
Did it fit in the context of the...
Sure, sweet tooth, fudge.
Oh, what did she say? Remember she said that thing about... that very distinct quote about having the sweet tooth that Vicky said.
What triggered the flashback, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it might be fudge.
Might be.
Great job, Steubing.
Fondue.
Great job, Steubing. It's like, hey, I thought you were on a diet.
Hey, yeah. Hey. Aren't you on again, off again, like on starving yourself? He's back to afternoon donut. There's no way.
So obviously this is what triggers the memory. So back to the present. Julie, now we're just hitting it with a hammer. Julie's like, it's the damnedest thing, Vicky. You have the same eyes as Steubing, which is such a weird thing.
Why would you?
I am the least aware. If you have blue eyes, maybe I know. Or if you have cat's eyes, or shark's eyes, like a doll's eyes.
Right, like a doll lifeless eyes.
I have said this to my wife many times, that the only reason I know what my wife's eye color is right now is because we've talked about it recently. I just don't know eye color. So Julie's spotting this from like miles away. Like, it's a weird thing to say without knowing that it's
right
blood.
Why would you see? Yeah, it's just weird because now we're spoon feeding now because we got to set up
right. But that's why it's weird, right? It's like
it's not logical.
It doesn't. It's they didn't
because they have to make like that's the flashback didn't tell you enough to let you know with 100% certainty that Steubing thought that might be a possibility. And they had to dumb it down so much.
There needed to be a Ben Vereen coming back for Webster style argument with Dolores. Or Steubing, you know what, Steubing? You're the captain? He drives the boat past Acapulco. That's what he should have done.
It's funny you said Ben Vereen, and he was on an episode of Different Strokes, and he was Arnold's uncle. And Uncle Phil's like, your uncle's a junkie. And Ben Vereen says, I'm a diabetic, Phil. I take shots of insulin.
You should have saved that for next week. I think Mr. Drummond's on.
He is. Like, it couldn't wait. It was too, it was too, we're in the moment.
Oh my God. Where are we? Okay. Oh, great. Russia Swit shows up in the slinky dress. Gopher Niet strikes out quickly, like just.
Oh, you're one of those creatures that burrows under the ground.
Yeah, she's like, I eat in Russia. I eat with people. And just you're out. Gopher just nothing this week.
Yeah,
but Doc now sees that she has a body under that shirt, so we are on Bricker watch now.
You'd think he would be smoother than to get, ridiculously comically hammered if he actually had intentions.
Well, it feels like he asks for champagne, which probably is like a Doc move, right?
Yeah, she's like, no,
and she's like, nope, we're doing vodka, but it's like, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Like you should not. This is like,
I don't think you know who you're dealing with.
It's like never get into it with a Sicilian when death is on the line. This is just like, do not try to outdrink a Russian in vodka.
Well, especially if they bring their own vodka.
Their own, right? It's like, don't shoot pool against the guy who brings his own stick.
It's not like it's like the opposite of somebody bringing their own tonic. You know what I mean? This is this is a baller move.
Yes. I have a problem with Mr. Bricker here.
Okay.
The waiter comes over. He tries to order champagne. She's like, "Give me my vodka or whatever."
Yeah.
He calls the guy waiter a couple times. That's a coworker, man. Take the time. Learn your coworker's name.
Doc's living in that caste system, man. He's not.
I didn't like
That's
that.
just,
Or if you
yeah.
don't know his name, just don't say.
You don't
say
have to
waiter.
say waiter. That's
You don't have to say
demeaning.
waiter. That's
not cool.
That's
I feel like that's not what he would do either.
No,
because he's charming. He's one of those guys that like always smells good, I bet, and always remembers everybody's first name. I bet you like he's that guy.
Yeah, bad job, Mike Norrell.
Yeah, not cool, man.
Charlie and June are doing the Lockhorns bit now. At the table, they're not at the captain's table because they're just nobodies.
Mm-mm.
And all of a sudden, June sees Bert over at the captain's table, and it is on, and it is genuine. It just feels like Robert Goulet and Richard Dawson ran into each other in life. Like this is they like didn't even know they were shooting a show, right? It was just like those guys had chemistry that made me think they were like friends in real life.
I don't even know. Maybe they were both so hammered they didn't even know that either one was on the show or that they were on a show.
Right.
Because, well, I mean, Richard Dawson's planting double kisses on her on the lips, and I'm just good Lord.
Oh, listen, you always say aggressive, but like ultimately, Richard Dawson is professing his love for a married woman constantly, including after the song at the end.
Oh,
like he never stops, and he never will stop.
No, he never will. Maybe that's the real reason for the move to Philadelphia. They can't stay there now. Oh, you should come for a visit. They're in Orlando now.
They're in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Yeah, they're so gone. South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Goodbye.
Turns out that Bert and Charlie were songwriting partners and went to Syracuse University. So they were Orangemen. And, that's a good place to write songs because you can't go outside for like 6 months of the year.
He's sitting at that dome they have up there, just sitting there. And
the year I was looking at colleges was the big blizzard year. And we got like 30 something inches in Philly. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much snow. And then they got 120 inches in Syracuse. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to Syracuse.
That's why Bob Costas is so bitter. It's all that snow from back then.
Sandy and Victor have read the script. And so now they found out why they are in the cabin as newlyweds. Victor's trying to be the good guy and get off the boat. Sandy's like, or I could profess my love for you. And that doesn't go over very well.
Well, who's to say that those newlyweds that were supposed to be on the cruise weren't going to meet the cruise on the first port? It's awfully presumptuous.
I assume that's on Gopher's sheet.
He didn't check any IDs.
Well,
do they ever figure out that they're not?
Yeah, there's a scene.
Yeah, because of but not like organically. Nobody would have ever known.
No, and the thing is, because it was Gopher's mistake, he basically covers it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. She quits basically because he starts to try to dictate the letter again.
Here we go. With no alcohol this time.
She quits and we go to commercial. I gotta say, the last scenes hit before act breaks are really bad. They're just like,
they're racing towards that finish line.
They are not making me go back after a commercial. If I have to get up and change the channel, like that's not happening.
Mm-mm.
Act 3, Bert and Charlie are sitting at the piano. You know what that means.
Here comes
Time
the song.
for the future Stubby nominated rhyming song.
I don't remember the words to that one. How does that one go? Show you remember the words to that one.
At one
point,
a serious
number,
looking
man.
at the camera. He's just like
Goulet forgets.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
It was good.
It's
what was
like
better, this one or the Mike and Ike? What was a better performance? If you had to pick the only one.
Mike and Ike's song was really good.
It was catchy.
It really was. It's
This is
different.
kind
It's
of
too
old
different.
school.
It's too different to. I
Like
will
the
say this is
50s.
better. This is better than the second song.
Yeah, I agree.
That second song. Oh, really? You stayed up all night to write one lyric? Great job, Goulet.
I'd say the song where the guy was singing in his daughter's ear that he's about to die, that was a better song than the song that Goulet
Sometimes I
wrote
feel
for his
like we're
wife.
going to regret not giving that to Stubby.
We really.
I know.
If I had a time
we
machine,
gave it to the right person, but I feel like we're going to forget.
I wish we had a time machine because that's the only thing I would use it for, and I would do that, change it, come back here, and just to right here and destroy that.
No,
right
exactly.
On the podcast.
It's Stubby nominated, but it's not a Stubby winner, and that just doesn't seem correct.
Mm-hmm.
So the crowd loves it. Crowd's very excited. Everybody
They just want to be entertained. Apparently,
who doesn't like a piano? Singing around a piano.
Sure.
That was great fun. Great fun. Doc is still trying to outdrink Swit.
We're just going. Did they eat any food? I don't think they ate any food.
No,
either.
They actually at one point mentioned Swit's like, you're on an empty stomach, and he's like, oh, so it's going accordingly. Doc is smashed, and I was glad Doc didn't try anything. Will smashed.
He couldn't. He was just
but it's Adam Bricker. You never know.
He could make a lunge
with Doc. I think these things. I generally don't think he's going to do them, but I know he could, and so I always like to just let it.
That's true. I'm happy that he didn't.
Yes. This is so when you were talking about that there wasn't a lot of highlighted on the Julie pursuing Bert thing.
Yeah.
This is the one that really stuck for me. So Julie is at the table with Dawson, Goulet, and June. The four of them are there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking, and it gets awkward at one point, probably because June's hitting Goulet for quitting and all this stuff.
Gotta be weird.
And then Julie tries to, Julie, get along and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, she's like, hey, who wants to go dancing at the Acapulco Lounge? And June's like, that's a great idea. And she grabs Bert and splits.
Yeah, that was
Julie with Goulet. Like, what is that?
Julie was trying to create space for them,
right?
Or not, and she was just trying to get with him to go there.
Exactly. At the very least, June four of us would be dancing, and in the Acapulco Lounge, as we saw, Julie's got sway. She can have any terrible song played whenever she wants.
Yeah, she can just say, play it again, Sam, and they'll play whatever songs it's in her mind. Well, the other weird thing, too, is it's almost like there was like an unspoken argument or issue between Goulet and his lady about like going dancing or something. You know what I mean? Because for someone to jump on it, like, oh, you never take me to, you know what I mean? Like,
I think she was looking for any opening to get to Bert.
Skeet shooting, I love it. Like she should have been out of there.
Oh, Bert!
What? They share an accent. They're destined.
That's a good point.
Like nobody else could understand them. They
right. Yeah. What did you say?
What?
Vicky is praying loud enough.
Oh God, this was.
Vicky,
sorry,
I was proud of this note. Sorry, Vicky is praying loud enough to wake the dead, except for one person. This is where
you're almost loud enough.
This is where we get the extreme close up again.
It's terrible
with Stubing, and you're right. This is if he's not going for I don't think he's going for a Stubing because I think he's not going for a Stubby because he knows that's not how you get a Stubby. I do think he's going for an Emmy.
Let me just tell you, I love your European pronunciation of the Stoobies. Let me just say that. We should have one Stubby of the year, which is the best European cast member of the year or guest.
You know how I spent my day today. It's amazing I can pronounce anything in an adult voice. So
I totally think the Stubing thing is going for.
Yeah. It's almost like they're trying to.
Bad, dude.
It's almost like, and again, it feels like we'll have a different Stubing next week or whatever. But it's like it's almost
Absolutely.
like, hey, let's reset him, give him a little gravitas, right? Like this feels like a concerted effort. I will be curious to see how it gets followed up on. I
That's what I'm
assume it
saying
won't
is
at all. So
next week, since they're clearly not in any sort of chronological order the way they were filmed, they're going to throw some
Julie's got a
squirrely one.
mohawk, and
Well,
so
we'll see. I did peek ahead, so we'll maybe
well,
it'll
I'll
give us
say
an
this.
idea.
It's like if you told me the next couple of weeks we're going to get like Stubing chasing John Ritter again, like that would be the direct. This is as much, we didn't like it as much, but this is as much as episode 1 Stubing.
I do agree. I
And
kind of
we
had
saw
that
how
same
they did
thought.
this episode too.
But you're almost like trying, like I see what you're saying. They're almost like reestablishing
Right. Which
like his ethics or
that's the
whatever.
thing about this show is you can do that whenever you choose. The problem is
Yeah.
you got to follow up on it.
Well, they have
Yeah.
those continuity people now, so we'll see.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I didn't feel like they were very helpful explaining the paternity of Vicky Stubing.
I hope he has flashbacks like every episode for the rest of the season in some way or another. I hope they keep going back to a flashback. So, just my hope.
Or never again.
Never again. We only look forward on this show. Yeah.
I also want a flashback of when he's like in high school, but he's still balding. Like it's not even like what is he, Matt Williams? Like,
he's got his white shorts pulled up to his nipples, like the white socks. Like,
all right. Act 4.
Oh.
The good thing is because there's such nothing going on.
There's nothing going on.
It does move pretty fast, but it's Doc is trying to walk Swit back to his cabin, I guess, or her cabin. I don't know where he's trying to walk.
I don't know where he's trying to bed her. Yeah.
Much like that housekeeper a couple weeks ago when the kissing bandit showed up, he goes head over heels right into the laundry.
Hope he didn't land on her.
It's her and Charo. Charo's still in there. Meanwhile, Sandy is drowning her sorrows and fills Gopher in that she, in fact, is not the Wilsons, the newlyweds, which Burl's like, ooh, that might get me fired yet again.
Yeah. So, who's watching the safe, Mike? Who's watching the safe? Nobody.
Well, here's the thing. Nobody knows it yet, but like Stubing is more distracted than ever. So you can do whatever you want this week.
Good thing he doesn't actually do anything. Because this could have been dangerous.
This would have been great if like just right now, Act 4, middle of the show, the boat just veers into something because he's busy.
Just capsizes, sinks. Everybody's dead except for Vicky, which is weird. She just lives with that memory.
Oh,
awful.
It's like Firestarter.
They changed the name of the show to Poor Vicky.
This was another set that probably isn't necessarily a new set, but it's a new camera angle.
Yeah, I noticed that.
We're at Isaac's bar, but it's like a little more shot over the shoulder. And it's just, again, you have the sets. I think these are full. These almost feel like full room sets, right? There's at least 3 dimensions to them. So use them. Goulet. Poppin' bubbly. He is excited, which is weird because the last we saw your wife, she was running off with your buddy.
Like, what?
Is he popping that for Julie?
Trying to numb the pain is what he's doing.
Well, once again, these two are going like this. Like those widowers.
Most Philadelphians, right? You walk up to a bar and they're like, what can I get you? Most gentlemen of that age are going to be like, champagne. It did seem a little odd to me that he was drinking champagne.
I mean, I don't think they're from Philadelphia. I mean, she's clearly not.
Right. Either way, it just seemed like an odd thing for like a gentleman. Have you ever gone to a bar in the daytime, not at a wedding, and ordered champagne?
Well, but they're not at a bar and it's not daytime. They're in a hotel room and it's night. This is room serviced, I assume.
Oh, I see. I see. I'm sorry. I'm
right?
sorry. I was confusing two things.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. He's pouring it in the room. I'm sorry. You're absolutely
And I
right.
mean, technically, the answer to your other question is yes, because a lot of those morning drinks have champagne in them.
That's true.
So,
That's
no, I
true.
have not been like, please, you should bleed.
you know what? I had it confused. You're right. He's overly happy, which is odd.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But June is running a bath and apparently running it so high that she's out of the room for like 10 seconds and it starts to spill all over the place.
Why would there be a bath? That doesn't make any sense.
I think she's harvesting kidneys in there.
It's you got to have a shower at best. There's no way that you have a bathtub. It's just too much room.
Well, so we saw Michelle Lee in the bathtub, right? But is that the only time we've seen that bathtub?
Oh,
It was tight. It was tight, but there
I
was a
don't think
bathtub.
we've seen another. Well, no, because didn't Doc or wasn't he going to sleep in the bathtub?
But they didn't show it.
Interesting.
Like we know bathtubs exist. We just
Yeah.
haven't seen them.
These are the things that keep me up at night. Just the devil is in the details.
Long story short, Goulet gets ice from June and she goes to turn the bath off because it's running water everywhere. And he's like, nope, see ya. He is gone. Which
He
is
leaves
like,
with the bottle too.
yeah, which is probably how he paid for the songwriting. But like, that is, as someone who in their younger days would maybe get into an argument or two with a date or something like that. The leave thing is great, but man, that's hard to come back for. You can only pull that move so many times. And leaving and not coming back till the morning, that's like
Yeah, I remember leaving a dinner once with someone who I was in a relationship with. Just having an argument and being like, okay, I'm out of here. And I remember somewhere between that moment and then getting to my destination, I was like, oh, I am.
you just can't come back from that one.
You
It's just
can't.
yeah. No matter what you say in an argument, you could probably talk your way out of it. But yeah,
or maybe you should talk your way into thinking like, okay, this whole thing is just not going to work. If that's a bad.
Yeah, that story doesn't end with a matrimony generally.
No, that is not the story of Mr. and Mrs. Taylor. No.
When I was in college and I was dating somebody and I got in an argument and I tried to do the leave move, it was their place and I couldn't get the door unlocked. So you ready to do this big dramatic thing? You know me, right? So I'm like trying to hit the post. I'm like,
yeah.
And another thing, blah, blah, blah. And I go open the door and I couldn't get it. I tried like twice. And I started laughing and it actually solved the argument. But it was like, that was the one time that worked out. Probably saved me for one. But that is not the origin story of Mr. and Mrs. Robertson. So
yeah, no, nothing good comes of a potential leaving.
Hey, if you are either of the women in that story, write in. So Sandy brings Gopher outside of Victor's cabin to try and make him jealous. They're doing fake smooching. He overhears it, but then she comes in. He hops in bed. Why? So did they do the curtain bit, or does this honeymoon suite have a weirdly separated curtain room?
I don't know why you'd have it's in like a pull-out couch. What? How is that a honey? There's nothing about that room. That's that same room. The marketing, the advertising, the fake people that were in that room with the cardboard bed.
The suite.
That room was terrible. It's an awful room.
But it's not the honeymoon suite that we've seen for the two married couples. Because the beds are on the other sides of those.
They don't think we're paying attention. That's what it is. They're like, who in their right mind is going to pay attention to such details? We are. So
it is the next morning. Doc is dead. So Doc is just dead in bed.
Well, speaking of bed, did you see how small his bed was? He had like a twin bed. Where's all his lovemaking taking place?
Didn't we establish a couple weeks ago Doc's got like 10 rooms.
Oh yeah,
So
like in his office, he's got the one. But I was surprised. I was like, Doc sleeps in a twin bed. Like, wouldn't you think? And his room is like Gopher's room.
Oh,
Like, why
actually,
doesn't he have a bigger room?
we were in Doc's room last year
Yeah,
for when Kurt punched him. So
yeah.
actually, that's not the same room.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
They think we're not paying attention.
They don't even.
So,
Come on, guys.
Gopher comes in to get him for breakfast, I guess, or whatever, and finds a note that Russian Swit leaves on the side. This was pretty funny because Gopher's just like, he's clearly like, there's no worse. To me, this is a crime. You should not mock someone's hangover. That is unfair. But he definitely kind of breaks his balls when she gave him an A, but that's her initial. So,
and I'm sure her mastery of the English language is such because she's in such a role that she doesn't need a translator, that she could like flesh out an entire letter in English that makes any sort of like grammatical sense. No offense. It's just, come on. It's just.
Yeah, basically the upshot here is that, it implies that she had her way with him.
Yeah.
Which it offends Doc as a man, but it offends me as a viewer. So,
yeah, he's going to jump off the side of the ship if it's true.
So, Steubing and Vicky are playing Go Fish because this boat can drive itself. So there's nothing for him to be doing. And
how do you avoid icebergs? How do you avoid icebergs?
No one on the Lido deck.
Nothing.
There's nobody on the Lido deck.
Nothing. Like what?
Like 4 people. It's like this princess line is going bankrupt. Like,
it never rains on any of these cruises. It's either a hurricane once or it's like 364 days of picture perfect weather.
Hey, you're right. There's not a cloud except for that one afternoon.
So. All or nothing once.
Vicky is starting to enjoy the cruise life, but she also is going to end up in a castle in Acapulco. So real life problems for Vicky Stubbs. Swit. Oh God, there's so much
garbage here.
Swit has gone shopping in the cruise gift shop when Doc shows up hungover to give a piece of his mind to Loretta Swit about that whole "I had my way with you" thing. Great.
It's great.
Goulet shows up in the morning. Like I said, that's ballsy. Turns out Charlie was gone all night, but he was somewhere writing a song.
Yeah, not as bad. They built switcheroo.
Yep. You can tell here Charlie is like he's kind of doing when you're throwing the surprise party, so you can be kind of a lying jerk because you have the out at the end. That's kind of what he's doing. He's being real charming. Yeah. So this is actually where we find out the whole backstory that June got pregnant, and that's why Charlie ended up stopping writing singing, and that she knows you resent him and you never tell me you love me, and blah 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 blah.
She sprints to him every chance she gets. Like it's great. Good Lord, man. Yeah. What a weird,
uncomfortable. Oof. It's a weird love triangle because
they all knew each other too.
Yeah. You got to resolve that stuff, and you have to not talk about it. Like you have to be okay with it, or you can't be friends anymore. You can't. You can't be both. Like you can't. That's cheating. So
when Goulet was never like, hey, why don't you like take it down a notch with him? Like it's a little much, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, he, like I said, Dawson. He's coming back. Like, it's a shame he's never going to be on the show again because...
It stinks.
Yeah. It's disappointing. He only plays himself or is in The Running Man. That's it.
Interesting. He was on that Family Feud for a long time.
Yeah. And so maybe that's what was filmed.
11 years or... Yeah. I bet you it was a decent pay. he started off poor. He started off as a boxer.
Yeah.
He started dating an actress, and that's sort of what got him into. He's like a simple dude. He's just a normal guy with Austin Powers energy.
Here's another bit of the Julie stuff is June shows up to Julie's table and is like, "Hey, have you seen Bert?" She's like, "I had breakfast with him," and June gets her daggers out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, "Oh yeah, you've been all spending a lot of time together," and then Julie's just like, "Yeah, but that's all it is time. He's definitely holding the candle for somebody." And then June, man, I thought June was going to go into a flashback because she just starts doing the faraway look.
Yeah, they loved.
And she is gone. She is
all
like,
she needed.
I'm gone. Sorry,
I'm
suckers.
gonna find him.
She somehow finds Dawson tooling around on a piano, and the only bit we get is that, you're not supposed to be here, and that's it.
So they were up all night writing the song, and then Dawson's still awake.
He didn't sleep.
That's the 70s.
But yeah, this scene, we did not need this scene.
No.
So
we're going to get to 90 minutes or else.
Yep, that's right. You're going to have Richard Dawson sitting at a piano just saying the same 5 words over and over again.
At a piano, by the way, that he clearly cannot play. He is the worst fake piano player I've seen in 2 seasons of Love Boat. Just
he played it like Kermit played it in the Muppet movie.
Yeah,
like at the frog leg joint. Like
it's what, DL Hoppers?
Yeah, thank you.
Heck yeah, I love that movie.
Okay, so Steubing comes in to see Doc, and this is actually, I feel like this is a very good scene. And I have said this for a while. I feel like one of the things that the show I thought was going to have and maybe had a little bit early on and didn't go back to was this Doc and Steubing kind of, Spock and Kirk, or what? Spock and Bones, or Bones and Kirk, whatever. But like a bit of a familiarity, and this was the closest we've come to that. Steubing comes in, says he has a bad elbow, but then immediately starts wanting to talk about, Adam, have you ever thought about living on land?
I was just like, they're a couple of mermen. You know what I mean? Like they have fish tails.
Under the sea.
Have you thought about living on land? They deliver mail from a truck. Come on.
You ever had milk in a cold sack?
Listen,
this is the scene that probably needed to happen a little earlier. It didn't necessarily solve anything. They probably could have had him confide to make it easier. I don't know why they chose to go with this vague route. But I liked that they had the conversation.
I agree.
It also made the whole thing feel very disjointed because the fact that this Doc is also the Doc that's
coming off a hangover,
mid-hangover, right?
Thinks he was accosted.
Yeah. I did like that he called him Merrill too.
Yeah, I like that.
That felt like
they do that in Star Trek, like, Jim. The same kind of thing.
West Wing too, which I know you didn't watch. The chief of staff always calls the president Mr. President or something like that, even though they're like boys.
Yeah.
But when he's mad, he calls him Jed or whatever. So
just to get,
it's just to kind of like, sometimes you can't fall on ceremony. You're just so,
real. If I'm saying something to you in real life and I say Mike, then it's something good coming. You know what I mean? Same. As opposed to my, more formal greeting.
Anyway, nothing gets solved by this, but
nothing. Just a couple of mermen living in the sea, breathing water.
Doc, literally, Steubing walks out, Swit walks in,
right in,
and kind of confronts Doc about that whole, hey, I didn't just accost you, and he's like, oh, what a misunderstanding. And then somehow this is like, but we could accost each other now, basically. So
Yeah, and then
Doc had a real busy morning. There's a lot there.
He's
None of
busy
it
this
medical.
episode.
None of it medical.
No. Wait, it's alarming how few medical issues come up on the ship in the course of 2+ seasons.
We had one the other
1+
day
season.
when the kissing, unless the kissing bandit faked that one, but we had that one where Doc had to go back to the blackjack table because somebody passed out. But you are right.
Oh, yeah.
600 people every week. The odds are infinite.
The healthiest crew or healthiest.
And
I don't know.
They're changing chefs every week. Like, it's not like there's consistency.
Nobody's getting food poisoning.
Say one thing: if they got Boar's Head on that ship, they're in trouble.
Oh boy,
Doc will be up to his eyeballs.
# not a sponsor. Go ahead.
Not yet. They might need us. Though.
Not yet. Hey, we'll take you, Boar's Head. We'll take you. I'll eat Boar's Head live on the. I'm fine. I'll do whatever.
Would you eat Boar's Head in the? What's the river in Paris that they're all getting sick in?
Oh, the Seine.
The Seine.
Would you take a kickboard covered in Boar's Head pastrami and just kind of float in the Seine while you eat it? Yeah, I would.
Right in Boar's Head or Olympic organizers. All right, back to this intricate plot. Steubing calls Dolores to see if she can pick Vicky up a little later when they get to Acapulco because there's a party that she really seems interested in, which doesn't seem true. But
doesn't seem true at all.
So I guess good that Steubing and Dolores at least exchanged phone numbers before she ditched this child on the boat.
Yeah, how do you even...
With her dead sister's lover's baby.
Whatever.
I have more questions than I did before this episode started.
Me too. Way more.
Vicky is all packed up, but she doesn't want to go. Steubing tells her that maybe she can come back occasionally to visit. Like maybe season 3, episode 9.
Maybe. Just
throwing it out there.
Rando, whatever.
Right. It does make sense though. You know, they live in Acapulco. This ship goes to Acapulco all the time.
There's week.
A lounge.
Yeah.
A titular lounge.
They're there every Saturday night between 9 and 10 o'clock. It's really predictable.
Like one Thursday.
Yeah. Just come
on. Steubing does try to give Julie's job away. Maybe he could be a cruise director at some point.
Julie's like, hey,
you are right. You weren't wrong. So, I love you, Captain Merrill. Aw. I wonder if this was like, you know what, Steubing? We need to make Steubing more lovable. He's too gruff.
It's
this
is
what
dumb.
shows did back then.
Oh, add a little.
Yeah.
Heart of gold.
But again, it's weird not to follow up on it for an entire year. So,
you know what? I could see it if they had him as this like stern captain, right? Heart of gold, but like grumbly, kind of like what you're saying. But they have not portrayed him as that at
not very often.
All he's thrown himself at John Ritter, like all these stupid things, and
he's just whiny and cranky.
Just awful. Gets knocked out, does a 360 after getting punched, like, which is a great like Batman villain. That's how Batman villains used to get punched. The big pow. Like,
That's the thing. Like I think for a while I was arguing I wanted like gravitas Steubing, but now I think I want like, what did I say a couple weeks ago? Was it last week? I like where he's exasperated and wrong a lot and not really important.
Lassard, like we said, we've said
not as
quite as
dumb, right?
Yeah.
So.
We're not looking for bumbling.
No,
we're just looking for an authoritative figure with those sort of.
I just wonder when they do bring her back, like, are we getting like actual parenting storylines, or are we just getting like the occasional like do your homework, like that kind of stuff.
Well, I also wonder if between now and then, if it's going to be like Rumspringa Meryl. He's going to get it all out of his system. Woo, wild episodes to come.
Episode 8 is After Dark.
He's
So,
wearing English people's clothes next episode.
We might have to skip that one. That might be too edgy.
Yeah, it's bad.
Victor's leaving the boat. Lucky him. Despite Gopher's predictions, but Sandy decides that the jig is up, and she confesses her love. And then she basically jumps him, and it's Tongue City.
Yeah, no
as
kidding.
we head into a break. Like, we had way too many acts end with this storyline, which makes me think maybe it wasn't part of the original show.
No, there's no carryover.
Yeah.
It's not like the Steubing thing who went to Doc to talk about the Vicky, and then you have there's no, I don't.
Yeah.
Oof.
Act 6.
Oh.
Too many.
Damn it.
Too many acts.
Too many acts.
We are at the bar again with Doc and Swit, and they're just gaga for each other. Whatever that tryst was, that's good for what ails you, I guess.
Yeah.
Doc says, Doc kind of confesses that he, has had 4 ex-wives, and that doesn't seem to faze her, though.
She probably doesn't understand what ex-wives mean.
Yeah, it's all widows over.
That's what it is. Yeah, they're all expired, and she was like, "Oh,
yeah."
She's not grasping.
Doc is legit smitten, though. This is the most smitten we've seen Doc.
Oh,
right?
it seemed legit. Yeah, absolutely. It seemed sincere.
Yeah,
because he didn't put on the Doc voice. Right. This was like the Adam voice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was a different tone.
Yeah. Don't know if I like it, but
it's not good. I like normal Doc.
The big party that Steubing had mentioned to Vicky's aunt is packed. Actually, they really did do a good job of like padding it out with extras.
Yeah,
which is probably why there were no extras behind the Go Fish game, but they were all getting ready for this party. They even have like a string quartet walking around.
Yeah, it was something. They were like, we're gonna leave no doubt that this is actually a party.
Yeah.
With that was 10 people.
Yes. But good job by them.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't take much. Appreciate the effort. As they're walking around, this is where Charlie is really like, yeah, I suck. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I'm the worst. Don't you forget how bad I am.
Terrible.
Yep. And she's just like, oh, Charlie, I can't even imagine anything you could do to me. Like she's walking right into it.
She's blatantly lying too.
Yeah.
She's looking for anything to just run back to.
Yep. She's going to feel dumb in like 7 minutes.
But I wonder if Richard Dawson still has a thing for her.
Yes.
Or if it's a thing because he didn't win. In a sense. You know what I mean? Like if they were to bed, he would probably, it's not like that would get a relationship. He would probably just be like, aha, and then her life would be wrecked.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's the thing you can't have. He's the most successful guy in music, apparently, and he can't, and also, it's your college love.
Right.
Sure. No, it was, I thought it was interesting.
I did.
And I thought they played it pretty subtly, which on this show is always,
That's a challenge.
Julie introduces Bert, then that he's going to play a new song. And that new song turns out to be one that Charlie wrote. Bert, again, is really holding a candle for June. And for a minute there, they kind of make it seem like he wrote this song for her and he's going to really lay it out there. But then he quick reveals that actually I didn't write it. Charlie wrote it. And June is just like, oh, fiddlesticks.
Or maybe he didn't. Maybe Dawson found him passed out on like the deck. And he was like, I got to fix this, mate. And he went in and he was just like, here, I'll fix this,
Bosom's mate.
Mate. I don't know.
It's not a good song.
No, it's a terrible song.
I love you,
The first song was much better.
Yes, I love you, I love you, I can only sing 8 seconds of it in case they try to copyright.
Well, we don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe Goulet made the right choice going to advertising in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
so
that's
not that great.
If this is a highlight, of his,
I mean, I know it was overnight, but still,
you're no Bernie Taupin, sir.
No, you're not. Dawson was great though. Like it was.
He's good. You give him anything. He's great.
He's smoldering underneath the surface the whole time. He never stops. Mm-hmm. Like looking at June, like he's definitely singing that thing to her.
He's like making out with other girls and then making eye contact with June. Like it's odd.
Right. He almost sang it as intensely to June as Roxy Blue did it to Isaac. Almost. We will not see I Love You, probably in the stubbies, but I don't see Dawson as a double. I mean, 2 songs.
Yeah.
We haven't had a lot of 2-songers.
It's a strong Dawson. He's an enigma.
Oh, we are still on this Russia thing. Swit's trying to charm Doc on the deck, and we got the Russian, theme going. So the vodka is flowing.
Oh,
it's like,
vodka,
it's like Dr. Zhivago out there. This is to your point. We have a lot of smash cuts now. Stubing's dancing. Yeah. Stubing's at the party dancing with Vicky. Here comes Aunt Dolores and little Jimmy. Vicky's like, later, loser. I'm out of here.
Dude, she turned around and left so fast. I was like, holy crap, man. He's getting all misty, and she's like, tell your story walking, old man. I'm out of here.
See ya, Sterling?
What's your name? Captain Simpson?
He is just crushed. Yeah, and you're right. She doesn't even give him a goodbye.
No.
Dolores thanks Stubing for, babysitting and then says you should stop by, which of course, as we said, yeah, you should stop by.
Yeah, you probably should.
Probably should. Visit the gravesite. He could have gone to the funeral or seen her. Or do we not think that she must have lived in California? Well, we don't know. We don't have any answers.
Maybe Stubing did something, like they say people like go to Alaska. And Alaska is the place where people want to get lost. Like people running from something.
Yeah.
Maybe Stubing just would like join. No one can get in touch with him. Nobody knows where he is.
Well,
that's what it is.
This whole thing sends us to the flashback that I think they thought was going to be helpful.
Here we go.
But Georgina saw the premiere episode of The Love Boat and says, Meryl loves the sea. It'll never work out. And then this is the real confusing part with the other guy, the guy who Vicky knows as the dad.
Yeah.
Was she married? Was she dating 2 guys at once?
Was she cheating on her husband with Meryl? If it's some torrid thing?
Right. Or is this guy like the safe choice? Is Meryl the bad boy in this situation?
But here's the thing is, if that guy's dead and the mom is dead, then no one's ever going to know.
But if
what
that
really
guy
happened?
Died when she was 3, why didn't she get in contact? Like, Stubing cuts her off, it sounds like, right? At that conversation. Yeah. But yet in the letter here in a few minutes, he sends a gift to the baby. Like, it doesn't...
They don't know what they're doing.
It doesn't add up.
Where's the continuity?
They think we don't pay attention to these things.
Come on. Be better.
Thank God Vicky comes back. Says goodbye. That would have been tough. That would have been a tough one.
Yeah, that was rough. That was rude. The aunt's not like, oh, say goodbye to...
Yeah.
She's just like, no, run. Run with Jimmy.
Don't ever come back. I'll see you in 28 episodes.
Bye.
Act 7.
Ah, crap.
Well, I think this is the last one.
Oh, excellent.
Soupy and Joanne Worley have drank their way through the boat, and now they're getting off the boat. And I guess they got engaged.
Which, oh yeah,
He
that's
said he
makes.
offered her a new position, but I didn't know if that was a sex thing. Like, so like, I
It
don't
would have been
care.
great. He was like, "Look, you're fired. I've
Yeah.
been trying to get this letter written for how many days now?"
The
Like,
Marine Corps is not going to
yeah,
know.
like what? Come on.
Bert gives Julie a peck on the cheek. Speak with you next week. Glad we met, which is just like such a
You know what that's about?
that is a form letter.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Here's a yeah. Here's a
out of office
waiver.
reply.
Yeah. He
And
gives
then
her his
here
manager's phone number, like something like that. Just
gives him Ray Combs his number. It's like,
oh, poor Ray Combs.
hasn't answered this phone in years. Bert,
That's terrible. That's terrible. That's a great Ray Combs joke, though.
terrible. The Godwins come over. Bert promises that he will visit them. It will not be 15 years. He will visit them in Philadelphia, but he's got a movie to shoot, and then he's got something else and this and that. He's a real jet setter. But you know what? They fly from Philadelphia to London, so you could stop over.
He could. He's a busy beaver.
But then he basically, like, he told her, "I still love you." Like,
yeah,
so
it's really,
yeah, like, don't forget me.
yeah, like come visit me. Like, whoa, it was weird.
Like,
was
I mean,
wild.
this is not done. Sorry, Goulet, this is not done.
That's not over.
Do you think they ever meet up again?
No. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, if Charlie's smart, they don't.
I mean, if all it takes is him pumping out some awful song every few years, then no.
I still love you, you know.
Yeah, but I think Dawson, like, how much older was she than Julie? I'm just saying, if he's
they all went to college together. I assume they're all in their 40s.
Yeah, so I mean, if he's betting women of Julie's age, I don't think he might, and I don't mean that in a.
Yeah, but that's the one that got away. You said it earlier.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is it enough for her to still like want him to satisfy his ego, or just see? This is why we need like an after boat show.
The boat. After the boat. We're almost done. Steubing apologizes to Swit for not spending much time with her. Who cares?
Who cares?
Unnecessary. Doc asks Swit to marry him.
Of course, the next logical step,
right? But the Russian music is playing, and so we get a very dramatic comparison of our two nations. And you know what, Mike? They're not as dissimilar as you might think.
This is Rocky IV. What's going on?
I have the same.
It's exactly what it is.
That's the next note.
If we can.
If you can change and I can change. Finally, all caps, we are back in Steubing's office. And this almost feels like they shot it after because they needed to clean up some stuff. But this didn't clean it up either. So
no, it just made it stand out even more.
From the grave, Georgina tells about Vicky's third birthday, where apparently Steubing sent a gift. Now, the dad died when she was 3.
Right.
So is this right after the dad dies? Is this before the dad dies? Is this why the dad died?
Oh, the gift. Steubing was like, heck
covered
no,
in
none of my... Steubing mailed a pipe bomb to the child's father. They're bending time so much here that it's really hard to. I don't know. I don't know
why you wouldn't do just we should not be confused. We watched this. What? I watched it twice. I assume you watched it a couple. Yeah. We don't know what happened. This is not that complicated. Come on.
No, it's. But why use why aid a character with like the benefit of flashbacks if the flashbacks themselves don't lead you to any solid conclusion?
Nope.
At the end of we know as much now as we knew then.
Yeah. we know as much now as we did before we watched it.
Ugh.
I'm still confused. Anyway, we get the maudlin sadness of Steubing, and that's it. We're done. Tune in to part 4 of Centennial. So.
God, what a bummer! It's a way to end it.
Yeah, it was
like,
this was.
They're really, for Emmy submittal. I'll tell you what. I will not vote. He will not get my vote for best performance by a crew member for this. No way.
Yeah, I want
to see tears.
Still winning, as far as I'm concerned with that one. Yeah.
Oh.
So, as a recap for this week, like I said, I think a 60-minute version of this where they take out the newlyweds and cut down a lot of the Russia stuff.
Yeah, and the unnecessary camera shots where Gopher's mouth isn't moving. It's just
because it's not like our leader this season is like beyond reproach. But this was not. It was too much. It was a victim of its own excess.
It's too much. It's too much. But I also would love to see the ratings for this.
Just this particular episode?
Well, I would love to see the ratings for this broken down by like 15-minute increments, just to see where are people jumping off of this thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a 1-act play for me. Like,
we're talking about Act 7. Like, stop.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
If you're going to do a 90-minute episode, then make it a special cruise. Don't give me the same cruise for 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's
like
you gotta get off the boat or something.
Go to Alaska. Do something. Go the other way.
Go to Maine. I heard.
Go to Maine. There's lots of real estate in boat pods.
Captain of the week, best of the week.
Oh, come on. Richard Dawson, man. Richard Dawson.
Yeah.
Not even the character. Richard Dawson. What a legend.
I gave it to that whole storyline. I think all 3 of them were really good.
Yeah, me too.
Sucks. No Goulet, no Dawson ever again. We do get Julie at Mills a few more times, including, I think her next episode, her sister comes on with her.
Oh, excellent.
Which will be fun. But no, I thought they were really good, and especially with the rest of this nonsense.
Yeah.
And I thought Vicky was really good. Well, I thought she was good in the beginning. I thought she was fine in the middle. I'm okay with seeing how she comes on. I'm not like automatically resenting that she's going to be on. So
I just don't think it's necessary to add a character. I think of like Different Strokes when what's his name, with the redheaded kid, and they always
Sam.
like they always add. It's not necessary. I feel like we have a good.
Are you sure
recipe
it's not necessary? Do you think it's working? I mean, I don't know that this is working. No, I think if they had tried to solve the consistency problem, and again, here's the problem. We have 25, 27, 30 episodes in between.
Yeah.
That adding. So, like I said, I don't think it bodes well for the rest of season 2.
Well, especially if they have to go back to it.
Right.
Like, oh, geez, things are, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe it's the best thing to do as like to anchor some sort of consistency to Steubing.
Right. It's like, I feel like yeah.
I feel like it's a better show when he's consistent.
My thought is, though, that we are going to go through season 2 and find the reasons they came to that decision.
Oh, that's my fear.
Yes.
That's my fear.
I'm going to say this. I think we might have seen the best of Steubing for season 2.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, there we go.
Boy, that is a low bar, sir.
True.
Oh, boy. All right. Well,
we'll walk the plank. Worst of the week.
Oh, gosh. I don't know where. I'm not sure where to start. Number one, part of me wants to say liver and onions, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, just my disdain. I'm really at a loss with this. I would say, in general, the newlywed storyline, if I had to pick one thing, but if I had to pick a person, I would pick the aunt. Dropping the kid off. I don't know if it's the worst, but there was so much bad in this that it's hard to kind of figure out what I dislike the most.
I went with the Russia thing just because it was really a one trick, and I just generally don't like that. And I know we're going to get more of it. I just need to get over it. Not anybody's fault. It was what it was.
Was there another episode where we had 2 crew member storylines in the course of one episode? Because I'm thinking maybe they should have gotten rid of the Doc storyline from this. Because, like you said, it was. I'm just wondering, do they normally have?
I'd have to go back and think about it, but yeah, top of my head, it's not.
Because they were heavy.
I mean, we've had episodes where they don't have any crew storylines, right?
But it was heavy, like Doc with the emotional and Meryl with his close-ups.
Yeah, it was a lot.
What a stink! How did they think to put
special? The irony is we're probably our longest episode, but the stretching deserves its own award. That was because now we've had 3 long episodes. We had 2 2-part episodes, and now we've had 90-minute, and we're going to get more of these 90 minutes. Apparently,
yeah.
The first 2-parter did not feel stretched, except for the couple caper crew.
Yeah, I agree.
Bits,
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
The second one,
well, it felt concise, like it felt together. It wasn't choppy. Yeah.
The second one felt very stretched, but not in like a one scene thing. It more like this, where it was like, but that was like here's a whole episode that's basically not the Love Boat. Was basically what they did. This was just like scripting problems.
I just not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah. That's totals in a recap. But now it's time for the mailbag.
Oh, let me check the old mailbag, Mike.
Oh,
look. We have mail. 3rd week in a row.
3 weeks in a row. Good job, everybody.
This is amazing. Let me read you a couple snippets. Email says, wanted to send a quick note to say thanks for making your podcast. My husband is just relieved I've stopped listening to true crime. I think he was starting to get a bit paranoid.
Wait till you hear that Stu being killed.
Yeah, just wait. This might be right up your alley. Also here saying, she mentioned something that you can get room service hot dogs on a Princess Cruise, and they're absolutely delicious.
Ooh, better than liver and onion.
Delivery. Yeah, delivery. Yeah.
Probably not better than flaming duck, though.
No, how is that kid's food? What kid is the liver and onions?
That's why. Oh, well, yeah, but neither's flaming duck. Yeah, chicken fingers on this boat, Meryl?
Yeah, no kidding. Do they have chicken fingers? Not sure how long you'll be able to keep this up, but I appreciate the laughs and the insightful nautical critique. In the meantime, see you in the Acapulco Lounge. Jen from Worcester, Massachusetts. Thanks,
thank you, Jen. Thanks everybody for writing in. I like that we asked for it, and it only took 30 something episodes, but
yeah,
it's nice to hear that people are listening, and we like to hear your feedback.
We still would love to know where the Canadian Walk of Fame. At this point, we're starting to speculate where it might be.
That is the lingering question. That's the one hanging. That's the only that, and who is Vicky Stubing's father?
That's right. A couple cliffhangers.
Yeah. Plugs.
You can find us on Instagram at Loveboat Project. Look for the reels. Join our Facebook group, Loveboat Project on Facebook. You can find us anywhere you find your audio podcast: Spotify, Apple, Google Music, iHeartRadio. The list goes on and on. You can also, if you want to see our shiny faces, we are also on YouTube at the Loveboat Project. So come check us out. Also, email. How could I forget to give our? I'm so drunk with an email. 3 emails. Yeah, exactly. I forget to give. So our email address is theloveboatproject@gmail.com.
And I would say, thank you for all the emails, but let's get some of those. Let's get some of those reviews and all those podcast things.
Yeah. You could put a review. It goes a long way.
We got to get rid of that one a-hole on Spotify that didn't give us a 5. So
I want to know who he is.
I believe we both looked ahead a little bit to next week, which will be episode 33 for us. Do you want to give your tidbit
Well, my tidbit is episode 33. Two things. Number one, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah,
is
how
on the
about
show.
that? That was nice. But this is exactly how you get big stars, right? You get
Yeah.
them before. Like that's
Oh.
probably pre-Halloween.
Super. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Jimmy Walker's back on the boat this week, or next week, I should say. And this time he's a ghost.
Ghost.
So that should be fun and plausible all at the same time.
Question before we watch it. Will they even now, because now we saw that awesome graphic at the end where they had Vicky's face melt into Stubing's face.
Oh boy.
Are we going to get like Jimmy Walker kind of ghostly, or is it going to be
going
just
through
Jimmy
walls?
Walker?
You're going to get Jimmy Walker.
Be like, whatever.
He's going to be Jimmy.
Special effects are we getting?
They're like, here's how it's going to be like quiet on set. Jimmy Walker's in place. And you're like, look, extras. Don't look at JJ. That's how we're going to show you he's a ghost. Nobody look at him. If he talks, ignore him.
What if they just do voiceover, or if he's like a box? He's just like a talking box with eyes.
What if he's just his voice, like you said? Like it's just
he's just not even
somebody's.
there.
Ugh, not good.
No, I'm already mad. I think the dissertation cruise lady is also involved in that plot. So,
is she writing another dissertation poolside?
We're starting to get some. We're starting to get some return champions from last year. So that's always fun. But
fine by me. I love to see a familiar face.
For next week. As for this week, that's it for us. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we will talk again next week.